Remember when the Trump administration denied that they were trying to get sensitive personal Social Security information from millions of Americans? Well, that whole ruse is gone. And now the Trump administration is going before the Supreme Court to say, give it to us. Let's discuss. I'm Dave Aronberg, former state attorney for Palm Beach County, a.k.a. the Florida LawMan, here on Legal AF. Thank you for all your support. Hit that subscribe button. We're making waves here on YouTube, and it's all because of you. So let's discuss DOGE, led by the person who's no longer in D.C., apparently, Elon Musk, who said he's going back to Tesla after Tesla's stock has been sinking, after he's lost billions of dollars, and now DOGE is left a bit rudderless. It looks like they're not going to save anywhere near the money that they promised. They're just seemingly a vehicle for some of their young incels to get access to personal information from millions of Americans, and that should worry a lot of people, but it's playing out in the courts right now because we've seen the courts step in, we've seen challenges, but now the Supreme Court's going to get a crack at this. So here's the latest. According to Reuters, President Donald Trump's administration asked the U.S. Supreme Court on Friday to intervene in its bid to allow the Elon Musk spearheaded Department of Government Efficiency unfettered access to the U.S. Social Security Administration data of millions of Americans. The Justice Department asked the justices to put on hold a federal judge's order that halted the agency from giving DOGE access after finding the data sharing arrangement likely violated a federal privacy law. The administration's request arose from a lawsuit by two labor unions and an advocacy group. They sued to stop DOGE members from accessing some of the Social Security Administration's most sensitive data systems. The Supreme Court directed the challengers to respond to the administration's request by May 12th. U.S. District Judge Ellen Hollander of Maryland, an appointee of Democratic former President Barack Obama, issued on April 17th an order extending her previously issued ban on DOGE members accessing the data. In her ruling, she found that DOGE had failed to explain why its stated mission required unprecedented, unfettered access to virtually SSA's entire data systems. For some 90 years, SSA has been guided by the foundational principle of an expectation of privacy with respect to its records, Hollander wrote. This case exposed a wide fissure in the foundation. The Richmond, Virginia-based 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, in a divided ruling on April 30th, declined to pause Hollander's blocking of DOGE's unlimited access to records. So now it's going before the Supreme Court. And this is where the Trump administration is stepping very close to that third rail of American politics, which is Social Security, because it's generally believed that if you try to touch Americans' Social Security benefits, then you're going to get stung. You're going to get electrocuted, because that is not an entitlement program. We buy into it. We pay into it, and then there's an expectation that the government is going to live up to its end of the bargain. Well, here, although there's been talk of the Trump administration trying to meddle with Social Security, because after all, you got to try to pay for those billionaire tax cuts, right? But there's been talk that they're going to try to mess around with Social Security. That hasn't happened yet. But what is happening is that you have these young 20-somethings who work for DOGE who are in there, these agencies, seemingly as a matter of sport to try to get all this personal information, this sensitive information. And you can see by the federal judge saying, why do you need this? Like, what's the deal with this? And the 4th Circuit Court of Appeals kept that injunction in place. See, that's not necessarily a judgment on the merits. It's just that, was there an emergency here? Yeah, the emergency is once the cat's out of the bag, you can't put it back in that bag. To use another metaphor, once the toothpaste's out of the tube, it's hard for these 20-somethings to see what they just saw, and then they can distribute it, and then the damage is done. So the injunction needs to happen on the front end, which is why I think the Supreme Court should rule the same way as the two lower courts and say, yeah, we're not going to let you go ahead and just start digging into this information where you have unfettered access to the sensitive information of millions of Americans, unless you can show actually a compelling state interest. What is the compelling interest? What is so crucial about it? Are you saving lives? Is this to save a financial catastrophe from happening? Or do you just want to see how, Miss Sally Smith in Nebraska is getting her payments, and you want to know details about how much she's making and how much she's getting and where she lives and who her family is, just so you can have that information. And because sure it beats just playing video games in your mother's basement. Or maybe it doesn't for some of them. I don't know. But that's where we are with Doge. The other thing about Doge is that Elon Musk, who's supposed to be the head of this, is AWOL, and that's because his Tesla stock has been sinking. But if you want to just do a little cursory look to see where Mr. Musk is, he's in a small rural Texas town in South Texas that he got to vote his way in a vote of 212-6 to create a new city called Starbase. That is a city that is the home of SpaceX's rocket company. So he got what he wanted from this tiny town, and now they're a real city, and he can create this whole town that uses contracts with the Department of Defense and NASA that hopes to send astronauts back to the moon and someday to Mars. According to the Associated Press, Musk first floated the idea of Starbase in 2021, and approval of the new city was all but certain. Of the 283 eligible voters in the area, most are believed to be Starbase workers. Yeah, the election victory was personal for Musk. The billionaire's popularity has diminished since he became the chainsaw-wielding public face of President Donald Trump's federal job and spending cuts, and profits at his Tesla car company have plummeted. So Elon Musk is not there fighting in front of the Supreme Court to get access to this crucial Social Security information. He is now focused instead on building a new city where people like him, yes, all 220 some odd people of the city, they are on his side. And now he gets to declare himself the unofficial mayor of Starbase. So, hey, that's okay. I'm much happier with him running the rocket stuff than for him to run our government. I'm much more pleased with him dealing with NASA and rockets to Mars than in trying to take a chainsaw and slash government jobs when he had no evaluation review, no expertise, just going in there to slash for the sake of slashing. And he got out right before the big issue involves Social Security, because that, again, is where you don't want to tread when you are a politician or an appointed person who is not elected to anything. That remains a third rail of American politics and will remain so. And we'll keep following it here on Legal AF. I'm Dave Aronberg, a.k.a. the Florida LawMan. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share with a friend, leave a comment below. Thank you for all your support, and I'll see you next time.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.